As we learn more and more about Project 2025, the more we see the clear and present danger that not only Donald Trump, but a sect of the Republican Party, what it represents to the American people. It shows us that, in effect, if these guys take over, we are just going into what I call the Talibanization of the American political system. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
And we must sound the alarm. Project 2025 is a far-right manifesto. It is a 1,000-page bucket list of extremist policies that would uproot every government agency and disrupt the lives of every person who calls this country home. I won't detail every aspect, but I'll share some highlights. The Department of Education would be eliminated, cutting students off from civil rights protections and ending essential Title I funding for K through 12 schools. The Department of Justice would go on a murdering spree. It would rush to use the death penalty and expand its use to even more people while circumventing due process protections. Project 25 not only calls for national book bans in schools, but also creates a list of banned words for the federal government that would be deleted from, quote, every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, and piece of legislation that exists. End quote. Here are just a few of the words on the list: diversity, gender, reproductive health, and of course, conservatives want to ban the word abortion. On that note, abortion care would be inaccessible and illegal no matter where you live. Take it from them. On page 6 of its playbook, Project 2025 states, quote, the Dobbs decision is just the beginning, end quote. People, even in my district, the Massachusetts 7th, a leader in repro justice, would be criminalized for pursuing essential health care. Now, we could have an entire hearing on how these policies would quite literally ruin and end lives. And I didn't even touch upon proposals for housing, climate change, worker protections, and more. If enacted, Project 2025 would destroy the federal government as we know it.
Ayanna Pressley nails it. It will not be the America that we recognize if the implementation of Project 2025 comes into fruition. Again, women, forget it. You've lost all your rights. Corporations, forget it. They now decide everything. Environmentalism, forget it. Free speech, forget it. Now, to purge the government from using words like climate change and all these other words, DEI, all of these things are excommunicated out of the documents that make up our body politics. I tell you what, folks, they talk about a lot of these people like to talk about communism and all that kind of stuff, not really knowing what they're talking about. But what these guys are wanting to do is complete indoctrination and a fascist state. It is clear from the document. I have not read all 900 pages at all, not even 10% of them. But in the synopses that I've been getting throughout, and I probably should start reading it shortly, what we're looking at is America becoming a living hell if this were ever to come to fruition. So mark our words, folks. This isn't time for games. This isn't time for maybe, we just don't like Biden. I mean, who cares? I don't particularly care for Biden, but I know one thing, existentially, one must vote for not Mr. Trump. Because if he ever becomes president again, it's not that he will be able to do so much that's bad. It's that all the bad folks, all the people representing evil comes out of the woodworks to work for him. And they will get done the things that they've wanted to do for a long time. And he will be there being the rubber stamp for them all. Remember, the guy doesn't have much upstairs, but he's a hell of a performer to some. For me, he's a jackass, but for many, he's a hell of a performance. For me, he's a dummy, but for many, they see a certain level of intelligence and intellect because he's dumb. Again, there's something that has happened to us all. Not to us all. There's something that has happened to some.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.